Happy Easter, the holy days, right? HOLI, holy, DAZE, days. We're in the holy days. All right. So, God bless you in the name of Jesus Christ. Here we are, another revolution around the sun, SON. Another revolution around the Son of God. Who is the Son of God? Did he live? Did anyone live? Is any history true? No. Anyway, happy Easter to y'all. My wife says something funny today. She's like, I think I'm going to be a Buddhist. You didn't need to go to Walmart to get a whole bunch of plastic eggs for Buddhism. I'm like, well, you weren't raised a Buddhist. They probably have a bunch of other Buddhist holy days and stuff that you and I don't know about. She's like, well, they don't. Yeah, I have to go to Walmart and get plastic eggs anyway. Yeah. Everything is already figured out for everything, right? There's a script for everything. One God, many names. I hope that my work over the years has proven that there is God. And God has many names, right? Jesus Christ, a character from the Bible, he would pray to God, wouldn't he? Pray to his Father. That's what Jesus Christ would do. He'd sit there and pray. Oh, I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna go up on a mountain, and I'm gonna pray, and I'll be back down. Y'all keep it together until I get back, right? That's the story. And they all fall asleep, and he's like, "Hey, what happened? I thought I told you to keep awake. I'm gonna go pray to God, and I said I'll be back." So it's kind of funny, these stories, huh? All right, Pamela. Happy Sunday to you too. SON Day, a day of the sun. Let's do a little reading here. 1 Corinthians 15. Let's do a little reading. 1 Corinthians 15, 51 through 58. Listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye. Excuse me. At the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. For the perishable must clothe itself with the imperishable, and the mortal with immortality. When the perishable has been clothed with the imperishable, and the mortal with immortality, then the saying that is written will come true. Death has been swallowed up in victory. Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting? The sting of death is sin, and the power of sin is the law. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. George, hey. Yes, everyone is in mourning. That's true. It's Easter. Ishtar. Or both, yes. Yes, everyone's under the spell of the spellings. A big book called the Bible, many other spells and spelling, right? But when the perishable, what did I just read in 1 Corinthians? When the perishable becomes clothed in the imperishable, right? You sign a trust with Jesus Christ, and then you can't be killed. When the perishable becomes clothed in imperishable, right? Then you'll know the power of God. And at the last trumpet, he's going to show up. That's what I said. That's what I've been saying. People have experienced, no one that signed the trust has died. So everyone's going to be here for Judgment Day. And no one's going to be killed on the way that signs this trust. And of course, many others will die. That's the big plan. You read Mir Baba, 75% of humans will die. That's right. I think kind of a small number, really. 75%. Why not 99.9 or more? I guess he treats the God, wouldn't give orders out to angels and be like, oh, hey, you got to do all this if you want to come back to heaven. And would it, they wouldn't be doing what God said if God wasn't true to God's word, right? So the 12 tribe of Israel go to heaven. Yeah, why? Because they're under God's orders. We need an adversary. We need a shadow. We need a game to play. Let's play a game. And so this is that game, the game of life, where we have a very difficult, uh, short amount of time. You got to eat, got to sleep, got to find food, got to find a place to rest. Maybe you got to raise children. All these things is pretty amazing, what we all have to do and are capable of. And it really is, in the end, just going to repeat forever until we figure out, oh, God is real. And, maybe you don't want to be in the 12 tribes of Israel anymore. Maybe you want to go to God instead of go to heaven and then come back here and heaven here, heaven here, heaven here, or hell here, hell here. You know, eternal life. Um, I everyone I'm around really, it was interesting to go to India and have a pilgrimage with like 6 people that were interested in the truth, like being around people that wanted to talk about the truth and hear about it. That was the first time for me. That's never happened, because wherever I go, everyone's like, "Man, shut up!" Basically, we'd only hear, "Stop! No, don't talk about it. Don't, like, don't talk about it. Don't, don't say it. Don't get into it." Oh, all right. And that's why ultimately that's, the message of Meher Baba is silence. Like, okay, don't want me to say anything, go win it on your own and without any help, without knowing the truth. Does anyone else know the truth up in here? Could spell it out? Like last time I was live on here, I had another good question. I think it was Jamie asked, how do you know all this stuff? It's like, right? How do I? How do I know all this stuff? How do I know to sign the trust? How do I know that? How do I know to go up against the banks? How do I know they don't sign? How do I know all this stuff? How do I know all this stuff for a decade? And then at the end of that decade of helping people, I say, hey, guess what? We're in a time loop, 64 years. How do I know that stuff? How do I know all this stuff? I've been doing this work for 12 years. How do I know all the stuff I know? Right? How is it even possible? Because the rest of the human population doesn't know any of the stuff that I brought up. until I brought it up. It's kind of, so you could know who's with God and who's not with God, who you could trust and who you can't trust. People don't want to talk about the truth. Well, are they trustworthy? I don't know about all that. But you can see why Mayor Baba went silent. And ultimately, I mean, I can't see another pathway for me, too. I don't know. Like, what am I going to keep saying the same thing over and over and over? Jay, before you had the trust and you signed it, you were having success. Um, I was having some success, but like I realized that courts are fake and laws are fake and all the processes of the government are ultimately fake and wars are fake and the information we get at school is fake and on and on and on and on with the fake script that we're given. So I was having success seeing through the fake script. But, when I went to court and brought up, hey, these are the laws, right? See, the bank doesn't sign anything. And since they don't have any documents with their signature, the debt should go away. And the court's like, no, we don't follow that. We don't follow the law. You know what I mean? Like, I was having success bringing up the truth, and they were completely lying, completely, totally stonewalling me, and never letting me win in court, although I was totally following their laws and everything like that. But I was such a pain in the neck to them that I was bringing up all the truth that nobody learned about. They would just like, well, let's just settle these court cases and let's not have them do this anymore, like uh how is that different? Well, when I started this work, they put me in a jail cell. That's how it was different. Being in a cage, it turned me into an animal in a cage, and now they can't put me in a cage like an animal. To me, that's the difference. You see what I'm saying? They could cage me like an animal, and now they have to treat me like a human, with some respect. They can't put me in a cage. So that's the difference, that they used to be able to cage me like an animal, and now they can't cage me like an animal. So to me, that's huge. Uh, before they before I got the trust, let's see, when was that? They were able to kill me, right, on Facebook. How many, like, this is Rise from the Dead Day, right? Um, how many times have I risen from the dead in public? How many times have I risen the dead in public? Let's see. I guess it would be two, because one I did privately, but I've done it 3 times. So, at least, when I went to, let's see, the Facebook one was first, right? In January 2016, before I signed a trust, memorialized my account on Facebook and murdered the character Rob Johnson. I had interviewed 6 times on that show, the podcast I used to do. So, imprisonment and threats of murder. And could they have killed me? I'm not sure about that because they did it. So I've always been who I am, but that is just about a process of awakening to show the truth to everyone. So there's that. And I used to have to do a lot more machinations to be able to bring up all this stuff, have a website. Before I had a trust, I used to have to start a new nonprofit in a different state every year to get a payment gateway to be able to have a website, like new PayPal or Stripe or something every year with a new nonprofit from another state, you know? So that went on for a number of years. And I figured out the trust. I was like, oh, okay, now I get to just have the trust. So that's different. Um, Before I signed a trust, I was actually out there on social media. I could be seen somewhat, until they memorialized me on Facebook over a number of years where I would be on podcasts, on a radio show, and stuff like that, and out there in public and interacting with different people and being on shows and being on Facebook and doing all this stuff. So I used to be visible before I signed the trust. Now I'm invisible. Only way I could get seen on any social media is paid advertising. There's no other way to be seen on social media, period. For me is it's just paid advertising now. Since I signed the trust, I have to do paid advertising. Because I'm invisible unless I pay to be seen, pay with money to be seen. Period. I'm invisible. There are five people on here. And all the five people on here right now, it says five people on YouTube. Every single one of the five people on here come from my work from Liberty Aid Academy. I can't just be seen out in public, on social media, or YouTube. I don't pay for this channel to be, out there and be seen so if I can't afford that. So I can't do that. So that's completely different. Um, once I found out this trust, it's like, obviously the whole entire network of the hive is now, has orders to make me invisible. And they're very good at it. They're very detailed about it. They'll throw me off other platforms. They kind of keep me on here because if I were to get on another platform, I'll just be completely invisible. This one, at least I figured out how to, do paid advertising on YouTube or Google and, have hired a professional I worked with for years and all that stuff. And I have a financially valuable school, like with information that's financially valuable, um, with Liberty Aid Academy. I don't really have anything that's that financially valuable over here, on Jesus Christ Trust, just spiritually save your soul, know all the truth with nothing left out of the hidden reality. But that doesn't impact your pocketbook hugely. It does somewhat, but with the information I have here, but it doesn't impact your pocketbook in a super positive way. So it doesn't really have any meaning for hardly anyone, obviously, because there are five people in here. So that's the difference, that I'm over here doing this really as a body of work that really just can't be seen. So I would say that the information that I've released on JesusChristTrust.net is more hidden information and more spiritual information than, in just plain simple English, than all the spiritual texts that have ever been, quote, written in all the history of time put together. I've released more truth than the Bible, the Quran, and anything that's attributed to Buddha, Confucius, basically everyone that's ever lived, including their Baba. I've said more truth than everyone else, every character, and alive or dead, anyone now, more information than the rest of the human population in the present and the characters from history. I say I've released more truth than everyone else that has ever lived combined. Uh, Jay, in my opinion, there will be a split point, and this will take off. Yeah, there has been a split point, ever since I started this trust, ever since really back in the day when I started going up against the banks 12 years ago. I'm posting the proof of my settlement agreements and everything. 12 years ago, there was a split point. It was 12 years ago when the split point began, and it's been going on for a long time. Yeah, Didi, five great people. Yeah, I agree. Five great people, right? So it's funny, um, just how few people actually care about the truth. That's what I've really, had to learn over all of these 12 years is because at the beginning of the 12 years, I was like, hey, look what I figured out how to do against the banks, and look what I figured out, all this stuff. And I felt there was this, at the time, I was like, oh, there's this great social movement where people are finding out the truth and they're making changes, and hey, we can make a change in this place and all that stuff. That's completely fake, right? Everyone else has a script. It's like the question JB had for me: how did you figure this out? Well, in other words, if it hasn't been figured out already and developed into the script, which everybody knows, no one's going to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless it's scripted in the scripture, it's like, well, then I can't do it because you're just speaking in English. You know, how can you say rainbows were inside a domed, crystal? It's like, wait a second, how did it doesn't say that in the Bible? It's like, it doesn't say that, but you're an adult human, and the only way that rainbows are produced when light passes through a crystal, like, this is just English, I'm talking to you in English, like, oh, yeah, no, 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 yeah, that's what the human population is. No, 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 no. Jay, odd that the people who went on the pilgrimage are having a hard time making it here. Yeah, no doubt. They, like Mike was saying, he can't see when I go live and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it is kind of odd. Pamela's here. George is here. Pam is here, and George is here. Uh, but yeah, it's not easy. They really make it nearly impossible for me to be seen on every single platform. They have to experience God. No, that's whatever that is a reference to, Didi. That's actually the only thing that's true in our reality is they have to experience God. Everyone has to experience God, but the problem is not everybody is doing the things they need to do to experience God. They're like, no, 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 I don't want to hear. You know, people would experience God in their reality if they would just listen to the truth and accept it. Oh, what rainbow means? What? Yeah, I tell them, and they'd be, oh my God, that does mean that. Oh, that's wow. We're inside a crystal bubble in an ocean of God. That's incredible. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, people don't do that. Like, I went all through India, and I just brought it up to lots of people over there. I used to bring it up in America to a lot of people, but I realized what's the point anymore? And finally, after being there for 2 months in India, kinda near the end, I was like, the only reason I'm doing this in front of all the pilgrims and stuff is just to show them the truth that the people of this world do not want the truth. That's the truth is, and that's the thing that's, most difficult about my work, and I think everyone that, is seeking the truth and finally found the truth, and it's like, "Oh my god, here's the truth." That they also have to wrestle with, wait a minute, the entire human population is opposed to the truth, you know, except for a couple individuals, what, five or six or something like that a year? Like the rest of the human race, the entire human population is, 100% like actively engaged in all day, every day, trying to hide the truth, abolish the truth, excise the truth, banning the truth, right? You know, if you speak the truth, if you're into the truth, we're gonna shame you, you know. We're going to eject you from the family. We're going to eject you from society. We're going to eject you from everything. Uh, if you ever bring up the truth, and if you constantly bring up the truth, we're going to basically make it so you're hated and reviled. That's just the way it is up in here. And I think the more truth people find out, the more they want to, from their heart, care and share. Like, hey, to people that they care about, their friends or loved ones, people that they're doing something, in common with, oh, I'm boating, I'm playing golf, I go to the beach, not me, but I'm just saying whatever people are into, I go skiing, I do this with, I see a bunch of friends, family, and all that stuff. I think for everyone that comes to the truth, it's extremely, you know, the place of mental and you know, uh, physical and emotional agony that you go through being ejected from society, is completely not what the individual expected to happen. I'm speaking for myself, but I think it happens to everyone. Uh, the only reason to, be playing this game is to know, oh, God is real and to experience God and, remove the veils of our experience and then be reunited with God in our consciousness, in our daily living. Oh, hey, I can see that everything in here is impossible. We're in a domed, you know, reality and the air is clean and the water is clean. How does any of this stuff happen, really? Because the more you get to the bottom of everything and figure out the systems and the details and all that stuff of what's going on, every time you get a little further into it, you're like, wait a second, none of this could actually happen. You see, everything's a miracle. Because let's say you have a dome, okay? We're in a dome, and let's say you have a light outside of any dome, right? If you shine a light through a dome, that light spreads out within the dome, and the whole dome is illuminated. You see, if you have a light and you had a dome, it wouldn't be like the sun shining through the dome. If a sun shone through the dome, it wouldn't be dark somewhere else. The whole place would be lit up. You see? The whole place would be lighted up. The whole dome. Wouldn't be part of it light, daytime, a part of it nighttime. How's that possible? That's not possible. You see them flat earth models like, oh, there's the sun going around and half of it's dark and half of it's light. No, that's not how it will work, right? You shine a light through this dome, crystal dome, and the whole place would light up. So how's it possible that half of it's day and half of it's night? It's not possible. It's not even remotely possible. But it happens every single day, every night, every day. It happens all the time, and we experience it. That's totally a miracle. That's flat out impossible. It's not even remotely possible that that could happen. So, when you see this world and everything that's going on in here, even, knowing as much truth as I know of bringing it up, every time it's like, oh, that's what's going on. We're in a dome prison. Oh, we're in a dome. That's totally, you can see that. But then, wait a second, how can all these systems exist, right? So the water comes out of the North Pole hole and goes back in with the tides twice a day. How's that possible? That's not possible. That's not even remotely possible. How's it that the waves never stop? Never. Every place there's a beach, there's always waves. Always. Doesn't matter what shore you're on of any beach anywhere, right? There's water, here come the waves. Everywhere. How's that possible? That's not possible. That's not even remotely possible. There's no forces that would make that happen out of a natural way, that's impossible. Dee I didn't experience a time loop until Romeo came home and said, "Time repeats." He takes classical studies in the Socratic discussion. Right? History repeats itself. That's what we're told in the saying in English. In Romeo, he said basically like it's bullshit, but he is lighter than me. He is in a higher plane than me. Right? It's really it is that center point of the etheric energy that are hidden from us. I mean, but here's the thing, it's not really hidden from us. You see what I'm saying? It's not hidden. You can see that the tides happen twice a day. You can see the waves happen twice a day. You could breathe in air all day, every day is clean. Uh, the water is clean that you drink, you know. It's you could experience it. I mean, the force of God is powering our body. You see, we went to I've been to see him before, but we went on pilgrimage. I went to, I can't remember his first name, uh, something Baba, but the lying down saint that's not really that far of a drive from Amanagar. Uh, and you could go see a saint. He's in a room, a small room in a bed, and there's a glass panel that goes out to the public in this uh what's the right word for the place where the lying down saint is? It's not He's sort of like in a looks feels a lot like a Hindu temple. And it's kind of what it is, but there's just one room you could walk by him, and he's behind a glass panel, the whole, like floor to ceiling, and he's just been in that room for over 20 years, not eating and not drinking for over 20 years. See, the power that keeps us alive is not food or water or air or none of that stuff, is God. Yeah, God powers our body, Jay. Dee he just says it's hard to believe history. I talked with my mom yesterday. She called me, and I had told her months ago I was going to India. She called me, and she said, "Oh, I want to read you." You know, her father, so my grandfather, who I knew as a child, right? I think he died when I was 17 or 18. He was a great golf player back in the day, okay? And he used to play when he was younger. This is a story of history, okay? This is what she read a newspaper article on my grandfather yesterday. I grew up in the DC area, and there used to be a golf course in the area called Beaver Dam, and that was changed names a couple times. And anyway, this news article was about my grandfather having played at this a golf course, and it had said that he eagled 14 of the 18 holes, and the course was much longer back then. He eagled in one round of golf. He eagled 14 of the 18 holes of golf. He had two holes in one on par threes. And she reads me this article. This guy's supposed to be a really big sports writer back in the day and everything. And she reads me this article, and then she's like, "God, it's just hard to believe it is, isn't it?" I was like, "It's not hard to believe. That's impossible to believe." Eagled 14. Now, just for you, non-golf knowing people, like there's a par, right? This is if you do great, this is how many you should shoot if you shoot the course perfectly. You should get like a 72. That's it. That's par 72. Okay, so an eagle is when you get two shots under on a hole. So if it's a par five, you should take, if you hit this hole perfectly, you shoot 5 strokes, right? To get the ball to go in the hole. And so that par five, he would have to hit the ball in three. That's the eagle. Okay. So, he did that on 14 holes out of 18. Hard to believe. That's impossible to believe. What are you talking about? Hard? No one in the history of pro sports has ever done anything, not even half that good. No way. What? No. No one, no pro golfer has ever even done half that good. Not even half. No way. No, not even possible. And he did 14 out of 18, had 2 holes of ones. That's what this newspaper article was about. I was like, Mom, what? I explained to you we're in a time loop and history is fake. I mean, yeah, it's hard to believe. I can't believe a word of it. Like, what are you talking about? I don't care who you are. Tiger Woods, sucks at playing golf compared to my grandfather. Is what that's what the newspaper article's saying. I mean, flat out, Tiger Woods sucks at golf compared to my grandfather. Like, what are you talking about? Eagle 14 out of 18. It doesn't even, what? And then that's how she finished up. Isn't that hard to believe? Hard to believe? That's impossible to believe. What are you talking about? How no one could do that? That's not possible. Of course, she just goes silent after that, like they all do, like, that's not possible, like that's not even remotely possible. Anyway, yeah, Dee Dee, history. So fake. And she's reading me this thing, and it's not hard to believe. Like, and she's all psyched because it's her dad. You know what I'm saying? My dad was the coolest ever. You know what? What, man? That stuff never happened. Wait, what? Uh, Jay, what is the name so I could look it up? So you could look up like our grandfather. His name was Martin McCarthy. Martin McCarthy. People used to call him Mac. Martin McCarthy, Beaver Dam. It's in Maryland. Uh, it's right outside the DC line. And the Beaver Dam used to have a I'm sorry, Beaver Dam was a stay back in like the 1930s. And so it's changed names a couple times. It said, and the place still exists under another name now. It's somewhere in Landover, Maryland, I think. So there you go. Look it up if you want. George Temple Museum. Yeah, for the lying down saint. George was there. And he went. Uh, was an interesting event, I think, to all that went, especially after we see the lying down saint and how they treated us and everything, how they treated me and all that. It was very interesting. Jay, that is why no one could figure out a free energy stuff because it's not mechanical per se, it just manifests under certain conditions. Well said, Jay. That's right. Uh, what actions can we do that prompts a miraculous response? Agreed. Agreed. I agree. That's really well said. That's right. Dee Dee, their golf course wouldn't even level perfectly because no machinery exists to maintain them like that. I'm telling you, I'm telling you. And of course, used to be a lot longer, is what uh, is the explanation that this Beaver Dam place was a lot longer course until they redid the course. So, he actually did it in much harder conditions that exist today. I mean, I'm just not only just on a level or whatever, but it was physically longer, more yards to the course that you would have to hit the ball. So yeah, poor mama. Yeah, I know. I try and go easy on my mama, but she calling on me to reconcile. I just think she just calls me a couple times a year just because she, like feels like she's my mom and remembers giving birth to me and stuff like that, and wants to check in if basically I'm safe to be around the rest of her family, which she deems me not safe. No, she's the one that basically took my girls away from me, Dee Dee. That's right. You know, and my cousin, other members of my family too. Like, we had, back when I lived in New Mexico in Taos in the '90s, and my wife was at that time. She was like, "Oh, I want to get out of the house and do something with some of my time." I was like, "Okay, we could get a job part time or whatever if you want to do that." And so as soon as I was like, "Okay, let's try that once a week." And she started working at a place called the Taos Inn. And she immediately started, having sex with a bunch of guys that worked there and visited there and stuff like that. And soon after she started working there, she moved out and like she just disappeared basically for a year. As soon as she left the children with me. And then I basically had it with this waiting around for some woman that was completely disrespected me and her children, and sued her for divorce, and she, lied about me to my family, which of course my family accepted. Uh, in fact, they still accepted her until she died. Her version of everything. So, and then my cousin, I found out, ended up paying like, I don't know, $50,000 to my wife at the time, just so she could fight me at length in court for the children. And so, and I was told by my lawyer at the time, it's like, well, you're in America. So if your wife shows up, doesn't matter what you say, the judge is going to give up your children. I was like, she hasn't been around for a year. I watch them all day, every day. What are you talking about? She's like, well, it's America. So, you know, and that's all my wife had to do at the time is get money to hire a lawyer. She got it from my family. And then she came in and told, the judge what the judge wanted to hear, and she stole, you know, my children from me, basically. And so, said a bunch of, very evil things about me, none of which were true. All I said was the truth. Hey, this woman hasn't been around for a year. I don't even know where she's been. Uh, I'm the one that watches over these children and pays for everything and does everything with them. And the judge took them away, basically. So Uh, that's just the way it went down for me. Everything's a lie in this place. If you look at the statistics too, single single women, single mother families do absolutely horribly raising children. They're this a horrible place for children to be. Not in each individual case, I get that. There are exceptions. But like you know, it's just most men raising uh, children on their own, most of the children kind of fare about as well as being raised by uh, a mother and a father. But most children raised by just a woman end up with a horrible life, in prison, on drugs, all the very difficult things in life. They have a much more difficult time statistically. When you gather all the information from the census, you know, information, and you look into it, it's like, well, what are the courts for? Wrecking everything in our life, so they're just give all the children to the mother to ruin people's lives, and then multi-generation, right? Not just that generation, but the children, and so on and so on. They're just trying to ruin people's lives. That's what courts are for. So, yeah, that's what I learned. Quantum Akashic Soul. All right. Glad you made it. So, yeah, Dee Dee, my mom's the one behind everything who runs her entire family because she got the millions of dollars and tells everybody what to do. So she's the one that told everyone that my children shouldn't be with me. 100%. That's 100% true. The matriarch of the family that tells everybody what to do told everyone to keep these children away from me, including the children themselves, and so that's why they're never in touch with me. Yeah, due to my mother. 100%. That's true. 100% true. Totally true. Women cannot handle money. Boy, Jeannie, that is, not every single one of them falls into that, but basically that's true, right? That's 100% true. That's true. Does your mother still attend Catholic church? Yeah, yeah. She goes to Catholic church every Sunday. I used to go with her. Yeah, she does. Absolutely. She just don't wanna hear a word about the truth. Just nothing. Doesn't wanna hear about it. Neither does my family. And that's kind of my point. Like, it's not my family per se. I'm just giving my information, not to talk down about my mom or family or nothing like that. I'm just simply trying to share with you, what I've had to deal with, and I'm sure you're dealing with the same thing. So I'm not trying to say, "Oh, my life is different than yours," or something like that. I'm trying to say this is just part of life, and this is the difficult thing about serving God. Everyone else serves the devil. 100% serves the devil. Almost every individual alive, knowingly, right? Everyone that works for the government, everyone works for a bank, everyone works for a space agency, everyone that works for subcontractors of them, right? Everyone is, getting all the goods out of factories that just pop out of the ether, everyone in shipping, you know, all these huge masses, most of our population absolutely 100% knowingly serves the devil and understands the systems, the hidden systems that are here that are managed by the devil, right? They knowingly worship the devil. And then everyone else, pretty much almost everyone else, just is like, oh, well, I was told this. And so that's everything in school is true. Everything on the TV is true. All that's true. That's worshiping the devil too, because you're not investigating the truth. You're not interested in the truth. You have no interest in that. You're just interested in what everybody else is saying and stuff like that. So, uh, you know, you get ostracized from the hive, right? It's not even if you look at ants or bees, they're actually for me, that's a better animal type to uh, study to understand humans. Like if you look at ants, you know, that's a really great way to understand humans because ants just work together, right? And you look down and they're all, gathering food in this line. They're all doing the same thing. None of them are out there on their own doing whatever. They're all doing exactly what they're told to do. And same with bees, oh, somebody's attacking the hive. They're going to come and sting you. All of them. Uh, that's actually, really that's humans, they don't really have the humans that I interact with and talk to my entire life, basically, pretty much all of them, with very few exceptions, just have the intelligence of an ant or a bee, you know, pretty much. They can't like discern any truth. They can't logically work through anything. They can't come up with any new information. They can't logically work through anything that's out there and then go, oh, hey, well, maybe that's not true. Maybe something else is true. The human population is incapable of doing that. Well, why do I say they're incapable of it? Well, they haven't done it, so they're not capable of it. That's all. You look at their outcomes and you see, oh, they're not capable of figuring out anything. They're not capable of doing it. Like, if I didn't tell them, how would they know any truth? How would anyone know any truth if I didn't tell them? Honestly, I can't understand how anyone has ever figured out anything true unless I didn't tell them. I just haven't seen it happen. I ask people around me, "What's more, 2 or 6?" And they almost never answer me. I start about well, I have been recently. I basically, you know, I might as well get to the point of this thing, and that is, oh, we're getting near the end of the hour here. Basically, this whole "don't worry, be happy" thing is might as well, might as well treat people every. I'm just starting to be like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? It's good to see you." All this just small talking it up, like a member of the hive, you know, because what's the point of having there is no point of talking about the truth with people. That's what I learned in my travels through America, going to every state here, being homeless, all going throughout India, stuff like that. To discuss the truth with anyone is pointless, right? Anyone you could meet out there, anything like that. There's absolutely no point in doing it ever. There is no point in doing it. There's no point. They don't want to know. Everyone you're ever going to speak to in your entire life is going to reject the truth. That's just the way it is. Unless you, for a decade or 12 years, like me, been out there, hey, this is the truth, this is the truth for 12 years, and then I got 6 people to go to India. That's the only way you might meet anyone that cares about the truth. And then I got 6 people that cared, but no more. So how is anyone alive going to meet anyone ever that's interested in the truth? It's never going to happen. You see what I'm saying? No one's going to share the truth with you. If you share the truth with them, they're just going to be like, no, I don't, they're not going to go with it. They're not going to be interested in it. They have no interest, no, they're just like, they're going to reject it. You see? So ultimately, the point of Mayor Bobby being silent for 43 years, I understand it. So but you don't have to take silence. You just be like, oh, small talk, whatever, and just understand in your entire life, you're never going to interact with anyone that cares about God, that's interested in the truth. It's never going to happen. Not your entire life. We got what, a little less than 10 years to go. You're never going to speak to anyone or talk to anyone in your entire life that cares about the truth. Face to face, you're never going to do it unless you were on a pilgrimage with me and you met these other people. But otherwise, it's never going to happen. Not your entire life. It's not even a remote possibility. You see? Do the numbers, right? Watch me go live all these times and never be seen, and no one was hearing the truth, and on and on and on and on with it. So that's just the part of this work that we're going to have to accept. And the whole don't worry, be happy as well. One, not we, right? One, you can only make decisions on yourself to come to the truth of God. You can't make it for anybody else. Your loved ones, maybe some children that are around you, you can influence them because they haven't been heavily influenced yet. Maybe like Dee Dee's story about Romeo, maybe you could talk to them and they're interested in the truth. But that's if they don't have a parent telling you to shut up all the time, like same with my grandson, you know, uh, you know, his mom's always like, shut up about all that stuff. Just don't ever speak to him ever about the truth. Don't ever do it. You know, that's what I experience. And I think that's what everyone experiences out there that has come to the truth, that has come to God, that has, seen my information, has seen that it's true. You're going to find out, the entire human population you're ever going to interact with for your entire rest of your life is going to be not just disinterested in the truth, but will hate and revile you for bringing it up. So at the end of that, you're forced to accept, well, I might as well, like I said before, you a fucking 18-year-old girl, right? You just tell them exactly what they want to hear, and then you can fuck them that day. It don't matter. I could fuck any 18-year-old girl I want to right now, any of them, because the only thing you have to do is tell them what they want to hear. So I really kind of don't recommend people walk around telling people the truth and stuff like that. There's no point to it. There's no point. It's a battle that each individual has. But you can be nice to people, like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm starting to be like now because it's completely pointless to talk about the truth to anyone. There's no point. You see, they just want to hear what they want to hear. That's the way it is. You just tell them what they want to hear, right? Uh, and what do they wanna hear? They wanna hear something good about themselves, don't they? "Hey, you're looking good today. Your hair looks good. Your eyes look good. Your clothing looks good. Your car looks good today. Your shoes look good. Aren't those great great pants? The food in your plate looks good. Hey, that looks good." Just tell them what they wanna hear, honestly. They're not gonna hear anything else. So there's no point in telling them anything else. You just tell them what they want to hear. Life is much easier. If you tell them the truth, they reject it, right? No one wants the truth. No one. No one ever you're going to meet face to face wants to hear the truth. Unless it's a child that's like your child. They don't really have any choice. You can tell them the truth as long as you don't have another, you know, someone in the house who's an adult telling, like, making your life a living hell for telling them the truth. Then you can tell those children the truth. Other than that, nah, nobody wants to hear. No one, no one, no one. So don't worry, be happy, right? That's just having a happier, easier life, right? Just tell them what they want to hear. Like, you want to have an easier life, just tell them what they want to hear. There's no other, you know, this whole story of Jesus coming into Jerusalem. Oh, Jesus here, he knows the truth. He's going to set us free. Dude, that's impossible. So the Jesus story is totally fake. Okay, he didn't live. Is there Jesus Christ? Yeah. But that this guy lived? No. There would be never be, oh my God, this guy knows the truth. They would never celebrate anyone that does that. I'm actually, I'm totally actively hated and reviled everywhere I go. And then they nail him to a tree. They nail him to a cross. I haven't been nailed to a tree. So both sides of it are bullshit. Do you see what I'm saying? God steps in, saves me, I'm not killed. None of these scripts is even remotely possible. None of it's possible. None of it. None of the scripture. None of the stories. It's not possible. They would have treat the guy well, and then they wouldn't nail him to a tree either. Can't do either one of them things. Those are not possible. You see what I'm saying? You can't if God shows up, right, in human form, no one would treat him well. No one would treat him how he needs to be treated because he knew the truth. The truth proves who you are. Obviously, I got the truth and no one else has it. How I treat it? Pretty much like shit or barely okay by a few people in here. And then the rest of the human population fucking hate it, and reviled, right? Hate it. Hate by my family, hated by where I am around here. And so they just want to hear what they want to hear. So my plan is, if I'm going to speak to them, just tell them what they want to hear from now on, because telling them anything else, that doesn't have any effect whatsoever. It don't have no effect. Does it have any effect? I've never seen it have an effect. Never. I go to court and tell them the truth. They hate my guts. I tell my family the truth, hate my guts. I go to the drum circle, tell the truth. Hey, my guts. I go to India, tell people over there who are supposedly spiritual the truth. Hey, fuck it. Hey, dude, don't say another word. That's our reality. And I mean everywhere in every country I go to, everyone I know, everyone I don't know, that's my entire reality from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. That's the only reality I've ever experienced ever. For the people that came on pilgrimage, I appreciate it. It was great to speak the truth for a couple months, and I'm sure it'll never happen again in my lifetime. So great for that. Thank you very much. I enjoyed that. Yeah, I mean that. It was really wonderful. uh, Jay, you were happy out on the beach the other day. It was nice to see. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I might as well just be happy and tell them what they want to hear. Nothing else has, you know, it has the same effect either way, where I'm trying to, tell them something. I'm like, listen, you got to listen to this. That don't have no effect. You see what I'm saying? So I might as well tell them what they don't need to hear, and they'll treat me better. What? I might as well tell them that what they want to hear, and then what? Then they want to fuck me. Basically, that's it. That's it. Right? Because what do I hear at the drum circle? I wear a shirt as a joke out there. I wear a sarong at the drum circle because I told my stepdaughter, I was like, man, nobody listens to me. Only way somebody can listen to me if I wear a skirt. So I started wearing a skirt. I was like, look, they listen. You know what I mean? Now they care about me. Now all the women come up to me. This is not every single drum circle, but almost everyone. They say one sentence to me and one sentence only, right? What's under the skirt? I've had guys say it to me too. I wear a bathing suit under it, so it's not like I wear shorts under it. It's not. They're like, "What's under this?" I'm like, every time I'm like, "You women, one track mind only, right? One track mind only." But it's just funny. Like you just gotta tell them what they want to hear. That's all. Tell them what they want to hear. I don't know what else to tell them. It is you do live a happier life by knowing the truth, but really, what's the point of ever speaking it to anyone ever you're ever going to meet? I don't see the point of it. You see, I don't see the point, except for we're in a game and our deeds matter. And God's gonna be like, okay, who was with me? Who cared enough to live the truth and speak the truth? And now you get out of the game. You don't go to heaven or hell. You come to God. That's the only reason to do it. But is there a reason to go out there, like, speaking the actual truth to people and doing that and so on? I mean, I after this many years of doing it, sure, I get paid to do it, so I gotta keep a roof over my head and stuff, but face to face, I don't see a point in doing it no more. Like, I would never be able to preach in public and people be interested in the truth. That's impossible. What? No, no. No, I've given up on that as a possibility, and it's like I could say it in this way and that way. I've said it every way that has ever come into my mind for 12 years now. People don't care. So I could get them on the internet. I could say, okay, this is how I can help with your finances. This is, after a lot of deprogramming and stuff, I could get people to come to this information. Uh, for money and so on, and show them all the wealthy are doing it. But the physical and spiritual truth that's out there, man, I don't see that happening. Best thing I could do is get them to side with Jesus Christ, and then God will show them the truth by experience. But me, listen to me, the point of me saying all this stuff, I don't really see the point in it. I don't see the point in it. I've just begun to just start telling what they want to hear, which is, hey, you look good, give them a compliment, and then just ask them, hey, what's going on with your life? Why are you doing this? Why are you wearing that clothes? Why do you have that car? Why, whatever. Just ask them about themselves and let them drone on about themselves. That's it. And then everybody's happy. Okay. That's all I can figure out about humans. Honestly, I can't figure out anything else about them. DD, do you think the solar eclipse will send a message from God next week? Uh, no. We've had solar eclipses before. No, I don't think any event in the heavens will ever have an effect on anyone, ever. Basically, no. I don't think that. Not until Judgment Day comes and the whole thing changes and everybody's like, ah, oh my God, And then it's like, uh-oh, it's too late then, Like, until Judgment Day should also be called Too Late Day. Oops, you're too late. Right? Oops. This is a day, it doesn't matter what you do. It's the deeds from before today. Whoops. Too late day, we'll call it. No, I don't I mean, I think it will take some event that was completely outside of what people have experienced on a grand scale, like Judgment Day. I don't see any other way that people will ever focus on God. Nah, I don't see nothing. The truth in plain English that doesn't have no effect on anyone. My proof of my actions and what I done, pretty much no effect on anyone, right? Nah. I don't see the clips having an effect on nothing ever. Nah, nah, I don't. George, don't worry, be happy helps me a lot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, George. It does, and you have a good natural disposition for that. Honestly, you're a really uh, you're a good inspiration. You watch over your family. Your work is you're high level at your work. Care about God. Like you're really very tuned in individual on how to get this very complex game into uh, just a very simple way of living your life that's as best you can. So yeah, I think "Don't Worry, Be Happy" is really need to focus on that, especially when one wonders how much free will we really have. Yeah, no, exactly. That we don't have any free will and everything, blame everything on God. That would then really the focus being, that you can do your best to control your happiness. Yeah, I agree with you. It's really difficult to be able to do that. It isn't easy. The difficulties I've had to live with is so on and to focus and maintain my happiness as best as I can is not easy. I agree with you 100%. And that's kind of the message that I want to get out to people like you're not going to change the fallen angels at all. You're going to have no effect on them whatsoever. And a regular human population, the non-player characters, you're not going to have no effect on them whatsoever, no matter what you do. Even if you perform some miracle like get out of taxes, get out of death, like all that stuff, that's not going to be enough to turn them in any way, shape, or form. I agree with you, George. Definitely. Uh, Jay, you can't reason with someone whose mind is off the tracks. You could pray for them, yes. You could love them, but that's about it. Yeah, and so what do they feel is loving to them? They feel that, "Oh, hey, how are you? Oh, uh, what's going on with you?" Right? "Tell me how you are," and stuff like that. That's what they experience of being loving to them. It's just that's what Bear Mama used to do is like, "Hey, did you sleep well last night? How are you eating? How are the children? How's the home?" That's what I've just begun to ask people, and they are like, "Oh my god, he's so nice now." You know what I mean? Like, just treating you like I was a teenager. I'm just treating you like I'm winding back my clock to as if I'm a teenager where, oh, I want to fuck some girl. And so you just tell them what they want to hear. That's why I'm just winding my clock back to that time. You know, Stupid. I'll just wind my clock back and just be kind as you take it as being kind and aware. So, how are you today? Your outfit looks so good. You just tell women, oh my God, all the women are gonna be so jealous up in here. You look so beautiful today. It's amazing. They're like, thanks. Wow, you're so cool. Like your hair looks great. Your shirt is excellent. Just tell them all what they want to hear. That has an effect on them. The truth, no effect whatsoever. No effect whatsoever. None whatsoever. No effect. No effect. Tell them the truth, it sets them free. Yeah, but it has no effect, right? You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But if you don't want the truth, it has no effect. And that's the human population. They don't want the truth. They absolutely do not want it. They don't ever want it, not under any circumstances. Doesn't matter how desperate their situation is, they never want the truth. Only if I can market it over the internet. That's the only people that want any level of truth. And they really pretty much just want the financial truth. So that's it. George, you wonder if their mind is off the tracks because that is their track and they are not ready for any other track. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. They're not prepared to have another track. They can only hear the track on a record, right? That goes revolves and keeps on going. They can only hear that script. They cannot, they're like an ant or a bee, an insect, right? They get the truth, they're not able to process it, so that's just not possible. It's 100% true, George. I agree with you completely. For anyone who still has a lot of desires to experience and cannot hear the truth, agree. This is especially true for young people. Well, it's especially true for any age people. I would say that the younger they are, the more of a chance you have, as long as somebody doesn't have complete control over, which they always do, right? But really, young individual, you can tell them anything and they'll just repeat it back to you like a parrot, right? Rainbows be were under a dome, as it were in a dome. If you tell a 3-year-old that, for the whole year of their life, or when they're three, they'll know the truth because they're just like a parrot. They'll just repeat it so that they would know the truth. But you have to know the truth, be able to tell it to them, and have no one else, blocking it from them getting it, which that's never happened in my life. Someone's always there. Don't say that to them. So it's never actually possible to get the truth to anyone, really. It's just not possible, except for over the internet, you know, and just basically financial truth. The spiritual truth is just too difficult for anyone to accept, except for 6 people that met me in India and a few people that couldn't make it. And that's the entire human population of Who Was the Truth, right? I've been doing this 12 years. I went to India. I've been to, different places. They don't want it. Jay, I like your plan on what to tell 'em. Yeah, no, I don't know what else to tell them. Like I've tried the truth. That doesn't work. Now I just tell them what they want to hear. That's it. Too late, Jay. Yeah, you like that. Whoops. Like that, Genie. Too late. Crap. Oh, okay. The sun and the moon and that whole thing, they just stopped, and now God is up there. Uh-oh. This is gonna be where's that revelation thing? Uh-oh. Too late. I better look that thing up. Yeah, oh, crap. Let me read that thing. Too late day. That's right. Dee Dee, man, I just want to see it all go to hell, right? See it. I want to see them all go to hell. That's true. That's what they deserve. Like this place could be such a beautiful place. God makes the air clean, the water clean. This could be a beautiful place. We don't have to pay for stuff or nothing like that. This could be an incredibly beautiful place so easily in one day. Everyone get along, everyone have enough to eat, everyone having a home, no wars, like all the stupid stuff they're making us do up in here. This place would be so easy to just have like a great life here. But no. Not if they're here, you know? So you just tell them what they want to hear and have an easier life yourself. You see? That's all. That's what they do. They just tell people what they want to hear. They just tell people the script of what they want to hear. That's what the fallen angels do. That's what they do. They just tell oh, you want to hear that everything is horrible in the news. I have to tell you that. So you want to hear that. Okay. You want to hear that your hair looks great. You're, you know, who clued me into this? My 4-year-old grandson. I'll go over there. He'll be like, your beard looks so good. Like, my beard looks good too. Your hair looks good. Your body looks good. And I tell him the same thing back. He's like, oh, thank you. Like, and that's adults too. They just want to hear, what's good about them. And tell me, what's going on with you? Like, I met with this dude that uh, he walks around the drum circle with a chair on his head. I'm not kidding you. This is an adult guy, right? And he talks to me every time he's there. And now he has a shirt that says the chair guy. And he walks around with a chair on his head. And last night I was like, hey man, how you doing? He walks up to me. Like, how you been? I was like, finally I was like, dude, what's up with the chair thing? Why don't you tell me what's up with the chair thing? He's like, oh, I put a chair on my head. I was like, I see that. That's cool. Why do you put a chair on your head? What's the deal with that? Why don't you tell me? He's like, oh, it's just kooky. I was like, yeah, but why do you put a chair on your head? Why do you do that? And then finally, after asking him and getting him his main lies and stuff, he's like, "Oh, I sell chairs." And he pulls up all the chairs he sells and stuff. I'm like, "You're the chair guy? Like that's who you are, the chair?" Yeah, I'm the chair guy. I sell chairs online. That's what he said. He pulls up his eBay account and all this stuff. I'm like, "You?" He's like, "You'd be surprised how many chairs I sell." I was like, "I'd be surprised where those chairs come from." I'll tell you that. He said, "Oh, mostly from the Midwest and stuff like that." I was like, "They don't pop out of the ether." He's like, "No, they make them in the Midwest." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I didn't confront him and say, "Nuh-uh, chairs come from here or there or whatever." He's like, "I just sell chairs. I'm the chair guy." Oh, okay. You're just a chair guy. And that's your chair guy where you're selling chairs and where you're at the drum circle. You walk around with a chair on your head. I said, so do you miss chairs? Is that why you come to the drum circle? You miss chairs, so you wear one on your head? That's what I said to him, because do you miss them? Or do they miss you? And he's like, well, I'm a chair guy. I was like, okay, chair guy. Just ask them about themselves and tell them what they want to hear. I don't know anything else to do with them. I've tried every other method and that's it. I don't know what else to do with them. Can't have any uh meaningful, fundamental change in their reality by telling anyone the truth face to face. It's not possible. It's not possible to do that. So I'm giving up on that. Not possible. J. Bob Medini. Jay, I want to know more about the issues that cause a problem in the trailer home. I will send an email. HVACs are fine. Like we got mini splits, 3 different ones. So that's not the issue. It's the roof leaks, the windows don't open and close, uh, the lanai, like the add-on room on the mobile home has termites again, because it's just the roof leaks. The hurricane and stuff we had just kind of made it so it needs a lot of fixing. So that's the answer to that, Jay. George, FYI that Mike is watching, he just cannot comment. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's crazy. I got a message from Mike yesterday and the same thing, or Friday, my bad. On Good Friday, I went live. He messaged me the same thing, that he can't comment on here. I'm sure there are others, but that are having that experience if he is. It's the radio show, right, Dee Dee? That's true. He's the chair guy. It's- Anyway, that's it. That's Easter. I just, Honestly, I never really I say, "Oh, just tell girls what they wanna hear," and then you can fuck 'em, but honestly, I never really did that when I was younger. I was just always like I would be honest and truthful and stuff like that. I never really got into that game playing like that, but I guess you won me over finally, humans. You just wanna hear what you wanna hear, and you don't wanna hear nothing else, so I guess that's just the way I'll have to go with this thing, except for the very few people that are interested in the truth. But like I say, I'm sure, donations are kind of running out here, except for the few people that do this. I can't see that I'll be doing this much longer in this church thing. I'm going to leave this body of work up regardless. But yeah, people want to hear the truth. Come on. What? You few people do, but the rest of the population, what? No. So if I keep getting donations to this church channel, I'll keep going live. But I think it's kind of feels like it's coming to a close here, and that the curtains are closing on the truth. And I'll go to law school, and I'll start, doing that and stick with the financial stuff and so on. People aren't really interested in God and the truth and stuff like that. So I just think I'm kind of getting to the point where that's a wrap. Click. Nobody wants anyone with Christ consciousness or wants the truth. I checked all over the world, and it's like, man, shut up. It's like, okay, you get your wish. Dee Dee, thank you for spending your time. So much respect. Game show tomorrow. Yeah, we'll start on the game show. Honestly, it's just about taking their money and stuff like that, right? That has a meaningful effect on us every day. So yeah, look for the game show treatment. We'll start tomorrow at noon. Let's get into this. Let's just start taking everything they have, and that's it. I don't see much a point in talking about anything else except for the actual logistics, of taking all that crap. That's all. I don't see the point of having these conversations about the truth or nothing like that. Even the people here, they all know the truth. So it's like, how do we take their money and how do we make my life easier? Exactly. So we'll focus on that tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for popping in. Thanks for the donation this week. Maybe it's my last show. I don't know. Uh, I'll be over at Liberty Aid Academy, definitely. I'm not stopping that. People are always interested in that work. So I'll be over there every day until Judgment Day. Uh, thank you, George. George made the donation that got me to be here this week. So thank you too, George. And thank you to everyone that come on the pilgrimage and made that happen. Poe family, George, and others. Thank you very much. All right, everyone. I hope you have a beautiful week. Have a happy Easter with your family. Okay. Uh, God is real. The rest of this place is 100% fake. Everything, something is fake. Their Bible says illusion, but it's such an illusion. It's a miraculous illusion made by God. You see what I'm saying? The illusion is like, how is anything possible up here? Everything reveals God is real. You should be looking at your world like, oh man, who made these trees? Who made the air clean? Who made the ocean? Who made the waves come in? That's God. That's the evidence of God. So God bless you in the name of Jesus Christ. Have a wonderful Easter. Have a wonderful week. I'll be seeing you tomorrow at the game show. All right. God loves you, everyone.